Doesn't mean that you can't safely conduct operations without it. Not necessarily.
Federal financial turbulence closes down Columbia's airport tower.
We're tracking our next winter storm coming towards mid-Missouri this weekend.
And that winter weather springs into action to snag weekend travel. KOMU 8 News at 9 starts now.
Live from Studio 8A, coverage you can count on in high definition. This is KOMU 8 News at 9.
Columbia Regional Airport learned today its air traffic control tower will close as early as next month. It's one of 149 control towers that will shut down nationwide as a result of the sequester. Good evening, I'm Brittany Pieper.
And I'm Megan Malaris. Branson will also lose its tower, but the tower at the Jefferson City Airport will remain. KOMU 8's Jennifer Lask is live at the Columbia Regional Airport with what this means for flyers.
An American Airlines flight from Dallas just landed here half an hour ago, although it's hard to tell right now. There are 4 flights a day currently going in and out of the Columbia Regional Airport, but beginning as early as April 7th, the planes will no longer rely on the control tower here. Reporting live in Columbia, Jennifer Lask, KOMU 8 News.
Well, good evening in Missouri. Again, another chilly day across the area. Temperature mean it's looking right now about 8, 9 o'clock tomorrow night. Going to be quickly changing over to snow, and we'll have a look at those accumulations that's going to be coming up here right after in a few minutes.
All right, thanks. The snow may pose problems for drivers. The Missouri Department of Transportation issued a travel advisory for the weekend, but air travelers, the airport says you have nothing to worry about. Columbia Regional Airport officials said they don't expect any delays or cancellations this weekend. Officials say the airport started using new chemicals this year on the runway to get rid of snow and ice faster than in years past.
And thanks to more snow in the forecast for this weekend, MoDOT crews are preparing their plows once again today. MoDOT is spending its Friday checking trucks to make sure they are working properly for when the storm hits. 4 to 6 inches of snow are expected for Sunday. MoDOT's Northern District has already finished salting its roads, and the Southern District is finishing up salting today. Maintenance Superintendent Mike Belt says his team is ready.
So we have our chemicals in the right locations. We've got our operators ready to go. We've got our trucks ready. They're put together, fueled up, and now we're waiting on Mother Nature to push the start button on us.
One maintenance team leader told KOMU that of his 10 years working with MoDOT, this is one of the worst years for snow. MoDOT encourages drivers to stay off the roads when the weather starts getting dicey. You can check out KOMU.com for a link to view the latest road conditions.
MoDOT isn't the only group on the highways this weekend. The Columbia Police Department says it will increase enforcement on I-70 during MU's spring break. Officers will patrol I-70 inside city limits looking for speeders and those who follow too closely. The city stretch drops the speed limit from 70 to 60 miles per hour. I-70 had the most crashes of any road in Columbia last year.
For some, this is the prime time for spring break travel in Columbia. It's also the main time robbers make their moves in certain neighborhoods. But local authorities say there are ways to protect your home. The Columbia Police Department says you should ask your neighbor to pick up your mail if you're going out of town for an extended period of time. That way it's not obvious that no one's home. Families should also set their lights on a timer so it does not look suspicious if the lights are on or off all day. And finally, make sure all of your doors and windows are locked.
A nationwide tax return snafu has hit mid-Missouri. KOMU 8's Danielle Carter tells us how a computer glitch that's delayed returns for thousands is affecting one Fulton woman.
It has been one fiasco after another.
April Adams never expected filing her tax returns would be this hard. Danielle Carter, KOMU 8 News, Fulton.
The IRS and H&R Block say they will try to get returns reviewed as soon as possible. For a more in-depth look on how the glitch has caused problems across the country, visit our website, KOMU.com.
You would have to pay a little extra for 911 services in Boone County if the Columbia Chamber of Commerce gets its way. Today, the Chamber endorsed a proposal to increase the sales tax by 3/8 of a cent, but some residents don't agree on the issue.
The majority of our members said, if this is what we need for the betterment of our community, and knowing that the business community is also going to be using those 911 services, then in the end, that's what outweighed any economical reasons.
It's a bad idea to raise taxes in this down economy. It's going to hurt struggling families.
Boone County residents can vote for or against Proposition 1 during the election on April 2nd. Airplane captains always have the no smoking sign turned on.
But fumes in a cockpit meant a quick trip back to the airport for some passengers in Canada.
It's going to be a wet and chilly weekend ahead for us. We'll take a look at how much snow we're expecting coming up in my full forecast right after the break.
Now, your live Doppler 8 First Alert weather.
Welcome back. Washington residents experience the same kind of weather that we could be seeing here in mid-Missouri. It may be spring, but it looks a lot like winter outside. Drivers were stranded after 2 highways were closed due to the storm. Hundreds of truckers also had to pull over and wait out the storm. Well, again, those are similar conditions of what we can expect to see here coming up within the next couple of days. But first, let's talk about those current temperatures out there, because average for this time of the year, again, middle to upper 50s. We only topped off at 40 at the Columbia Regional Airport. It's 38 right now, 36 as well in Moberly.
We just cannot get rid of all this snow.
I know.
It finally melted.
I know. Now we're getting more. So,
thanks. The president's trip to the Middle East is coming to a close.
Find out what he said about peace prospects in the region, a statement that had some people startled.
The president continues his trip to the Middle East.
While 2 superpowers signed a new trade agreement, KOMU 8's India Everett has your look around the world.
President Obama is nearing the end of his Middle East trip and made a startling admission today. The president admitted he fears peace prospects between Israelis and Palestinians are becoming less likely. In the past, Obama told Israelis they can make peace if they try harder. But he now says peace talks are getting more difficult because radicalization is on the upswing in the region. The world's biggest energy consumer signed a deal today to increase crude oil imports. China signed the deal during Chinese leader Xi Jinping's trip to Moscow. The deal underlines the importance of Beijing's growing alliance with Moscow. Russia is the world's biggest energy producer, while China is the world's biggest consumer. The 2 countries want to increase their presences as a counterweight to the U.S. Passengers on a Canadian airliner had a scary in-flight moment when the plane made an emergency landing in Ottawa. Investigators say too much de-icing fluid burned off during takeoff and caused smoke in the cockpit. The Cuban-bound 737 with 170 aboard landed safely and no one was injured. And that's your look around the world tonight.
Now, from the Ford Sports Desk, KOMU 8 Sports.
I'm proud of what this team did this year. There's a lot of guys in playing the NCAA tournament. We have 1 guy returning from last year's team. This team made it to the NCAAs. I'm very proud of what they accomplished this year.
A season featuring a star point guard returning, including a loaded transfer class featuring former blue chip recruits, and another first-round exit. That's sports.
It was a special day for 6 girls at Columbia's Granny's House, an after-school program for public housing students. As KOMU 8's Sarah Duffy shows us, volunteers threw a surprise Sweet 16 party for the girls and their friends.
The age 16 is a milestone in many young adults' lives. Sarah Duffy, KOMU 8 News, Columbia.
To check out more events happening at Granny's House or to learn more about the program, please visit our website at komu.com. Coming up on KOMU 8 News at 10, we'll take a look at this week's biggest financial stories in our market report.
And in this week's Your View, we'll examine how location factors into the way we cover the news.
And weather-wise for tonight, we are going to stay dry. We'll see the clouds stick around across the area, and temperatures going to be dropping into the lower 30s for the start of your day on Saturday. We'll see the rain coming through the area around the 8 o'clock hour tomorrow night, turning into snow after midnight. Heaviest snow going to be coming Sunday morning. Again, we're shooting for about 4 to 9 inches across mid-Missouri. Finally seeing some warmer temperatures at the end of that next 8 days.
I feel like every single newscast, that number kind of keeps creeping up.
Is
like
this supposed to be spring?
2, like we're not going to get any then.
We get 9 inches
2,
of snow.
4.
I'm gone. I'm out of here.
I mean, the one good thing is we do need the moisture, so I'm sure the farmers are happy across Missouri, but
Very optimistic.
I know. The temperatures could be a little bit warmer for my liking. So.
All right, thanks. And thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you at 10. Remember, you can always go to KOMU.com for the latest.